Welcome. Welcome, everybody. How are you doing today? It's so very nice to have you here. So, when I speak about awakening and freedom, and when I really think about it more closely, I'm really speaking about recognizing the difference between past and present. This is the bottom line, right? If we had to take it down to the bottom line, the difference between past and present. I so often speak in our programs about trust and about how there needs to be enough trust in our true nature for awakening to happen. Another way we could say this is the reason why awakening is not here yet is because of our attachment to the past, or because we follow the past or don't recognize the past for what it is. And this is where, when past arises, it's often so familiar to you that you don't recognize it for what it is. It also has its own momentum, right? And it comes with its own energy, and it looks very, very real. It shows up in your physiology, and that makes it even more enticing to follow. And this is why, we need the capacity of the nervous system to be here. We need to be able to come into the moment. We need to be able to, when reactivity is present, we need to be able to notice the fight, flight, freeze, overwhelm, collapse. We need to be able to catch that moment in our nervous system. And by doing so, create more capacity to be here. Because then we can truly come into the moment. And when we come into the moment, the movement that arises from here is what I call freedom. So I wanted to do a little practice together today. And, I'm thinking about Thanksgiving coming up, and being with family or not being with family, or doing all sorts of different things, which may bring in itself certain challenges for you, and how helpful it is to remember that we have this very powerful practice, and that we can do this at any moment, and that acting on the past, acting on reactivity, it only perpetuates the past. So we also need to have a strong discipline, right? A discipline of knowing that when past is present, even though it feels kind of easy and familiar to just go with that we have this option of inquiry, that we have this option of being here, of recognizing the difference between past and present. So if you have any situation where reactivity is present right now, and I say reactivity because that's an easiest way to recognize the past, you can take a moment to just reflect on or remember that situation. And most of all, you want to notice the sensations that are present in your body. Because no matter what you think or believe, or no matter what kind of ideas you have, the sensation in your body is going to tell you where you are at, right? Your nervous system is going to tell you, where you are at, what's going on, right? What's actually present. And when you notice the sensations, you can ask yourself, and remember, the question is not a mental question, right? It's a question that you ask very directly of your own experience. Are these sensations okay? Right now in this moment, as you are sitting here, is whatever is present, it doesn't matter how it shows up. Are these sensations okay? And we can only have two answers, yes or no. They're equally valid or important, right? They're equal. Either yes, we are okay, or no, we are not okay. It's not okay. It's okay. It's not okay. If the sensations are okay the way they are, just take a moment to be here. If the sensations are not okay the way they are, take a moment to identify that not okayness, that sense of not okayness in your body. And just take a moment resting here. So as you are sitting here, eventually there's going to be a shift or a movement. Sometimes it happens sooner or later, right? It doesn't matter. We are not trying to produce this. We are just tracking it, sensing it, following it. And when that movement happens, what follows is a sense of rest. First of all, notice that movement. What also follows is a sense of relaxation. And you want to stay here long enough until you can really come to rest. And this is so key, right? To stay here long enough until you can really come to rest, because then the movement that arises from here, that's what I call freedom, right? Movement that is not attached to the past, movement that is not affected by the past. That really is awakening also, that moment of recognition, right? Oh, what I have been looking for is already here, but I haven't been able to notice because I was too busy following everything else, right? Good, beautiful. And when you follow that movement, you see that doesn't perpetuate the past. That doesn't create more of the same. That movement is really a movement of freedom. So I want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving and invite you to our upcoming 3-week intensive in December, where we will be practicing this and speaking about many, many, many things, including awakening and freedom and so much more.